Okay, so let me share my screen with my whistle here. Okay, let me just so I can see this better. So the question is, have you been patched yet? And if you haven't, the person who invited you, make sure they get you patched. Or after tonight, if you want to, get some patches. Get patched. Why? What's going to happen? Well, what this patch is going to do, it's going to elevate this amazing peptide inside of us. We'll talk about in a minute. And when it does, the brain says, thank you very much, and starts reactivating your own dormant stem cells and a whole lot more. And so your body now is going to be put in a state of amazing regeneration. And so it's not the patch, it's your body now being optimized. It's just spectacular. But we got to give credit where credit is due. And it's this gentleman right here. This gentleman, David Schmidt, he's the CEO and inventor. He actually now has over 200 patents to his name. He is a scientist of scientists, an inventor of inventors. He's like, forgive me for this, he's like an Elon Musk of health. I mean, the guy's it's just genius. And the more you get to know this guy, the more you love him because you know how humble he is, how he cares about people, and it's spectacular. Well, David started 21 years ago with the Navy SEALs. They hired him to figure out a way to keep these guys awake underneath the water 18 hours or more in these specialized submarines without having to use amphetamines. And David, who uniquely has a strong faith in God, and who he has no problem saying, it's funny to hear from a humble man on stage, no one creates, only God creates. And he believes that God gives him the ability to create these amazing inventions. Well, he came up with a system to create a two patch. It was two patches. They're called energy patches back in the day. A system that would leverage the fat cells in the body and the light in the body to give energy to the body, and it worked. That led to the women's Berkeley swim team finding about these patches. They began to wear them. They began to best their times. That led to Michael Phelps during the Olympics wearing these two patch energy system. This patch system is Olympic approved technology. It's light therapy, no side effects, right? The government, the FDA calls it a wellness patch. So thank God it's not a drug because there's no side effects. And then we have a United States patent I'm going to show you here in a minute. So this thing is safe for little grandbabies and great grandmothers and all points in between. Doesn't matter what kind of medication you're on. There's no side effects from light therapy. So if you're on blood pressure, metformin, all kinds of crazy things, that I call them crazy, sorry, drugs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't contradict with this, which is awesome. And so thank you, David Schmidt. So back then, David created these energy patches and that gained popularity. Then he started creating some other patches. Then in 2008, he turned his attention to stem cells and began to research how the body could basically turn on its own dormant stem cells. And over 80 clinical trials, 10 years, $4.5 million, finally figured it out. It was his 39th patch, X, therefore the name X39, which coincidentally, Jesus took 39 stripes, and there's 39 categories of diseases, coincidentally. and and he got this thing patented. So boom, here we are. COVID hits when this thing gets released to the market. The whole world's shutting down. At the time, they had maybe 9 other patches. Companies doing about 15 million a year. This patch gets released, and bam, the company shoots like a rocket. No advertising, all through word of mouth. And so from 20 million that year to 80 million by the year end. Well, guess what? Last year, oh 04, 4 years later, 600 million. 86% of all the revenue coming this one patch. This year, we'll hit $1 billion in revenue with no advertising budget, thanks to word of mouth and a team that's helping share teams around the world sharing this with people. And we have a team also we'll talk about in a minute. And we're the fastest growing team in the history of this company. We're actually the fastest growing team in the world. We start with 2 people, Siemens Unimer 35 months ago. Now we have almost 500,000, and we think we'll have 1 million by year end. Nothing like it. So, coming back here, here is an excerpt from this 31-page patent, good till 2040. Have a global patent as well. But check this out in the middle of this thing here, if I can blow this up. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, let's see if we do that. It says here, as a result of elevating this copper peptide I talked about, it's going to activate stem cells. It's going to improve energy. It's going to elevate antioxidants. It's going to reduce inflammation. It's going to manage pain, improve stamina, elevate collagen production, improve wound healing. I mean, think about that. That's a lot of things right there. And so the I don't know one thing that can do half those things. And but these are all based on clinical trials and studies, all put inside the patent. The government said, okay, we got it, stamp approval. It does what it says it does. So we're backed by an amazing patent by the United States. And to do these things, I'm telling you, it does way more than everything we just saw here. And what's really happening, it's not the patch, it's your body that's bringing about this healing that's happening inside of you. And so what's the story? The story is when you and I were in the womb, the first cell we were was a stem cell. And then that morphed into every cell we now are. But you were given a reserve of stem cells for healing, repair, and restoration throughout your whole body. Your bones, your brain, your ligaments, your joints, and because for healing, repair, and restoration, and a stem cell can morph into any cell the brain tells it. So when you're 8 years old, you break a bone, what happens? Oh, the brain says, I'm going to send stem cells there, and they morph into bone, marrow, tissue, ligament, joint, what have you. When you're 80, that does not happen. Why? Well, by the time you're 30, half those stem cells are now going dormant, and clinically, the less stem cell activity you have, the faster you age, the slower you heal. By the time you're 60, 90% are now dormant. Aging process is setting in, obviously, and healing becomes a much longer process. Unless you have this. What's happening? Well, it's light therapy. What do you mean, Ken, light therapy? I'm not talking light from the sun that hits your body and the body reacts and elevates vitamin D. That's phototherapy. No, this is light that comes from inside the body. You and I right now are emitting infrared light. If we were in a dark, pitch black room with a bunch of people and we put some infrared goggles on, we could see everybody because everybody is emitting infrared light 24/7. Well, that light has a mathematical frequency to it, and that frequency is bouncing off this patch, right? And what's inside the patch? Amino acids and basically microscopic sugars from organic plants that are arrayed in such a way to have a frequency as well that connects with the frequency of light in the body, ends up elevating this amazing peptide. And when that does, the brain triggers the brain to then turn on our dormant stem cells. Who in heaven's name could ever figure this out? I mean, it had to be God giving David this. It's crazy if you think about it. And so it's using light in your body to activate what's happening. And so guess what? Nothing's transdermal. There are no stem cells in this patch. It's basically salt and organic stuff in here, right? That and so and that's it. And then there's no drugs, no chemicals, no stimulants, nothing invasive. I'm not re-injecting my own stem cells in my own body from having my blood spun and put out. I'm not injecting someone else's stem cells in my own body. I'm giving my body the ability to take my existing stem cells, allow my brain to do what it does best. My brain knows how to heal. I cut my finger, what's going to happen? It's going to heal. What's controlling that? The brain. So now the brain is going to control the opportunity to now reactivate these amazing dormant stem cells into a very healthy, super healthy state. Matter of fact, the elevation of this peptide creates like a seed bed to create very super healthy stem cells. So it's amazing. And so you can expect to get stronger. You can expect reduction in inflammation. Anything with the word itis with it, behind it, excuse me, is like tendonitis and arthritis. Well, inflammation is behind it, right? Increased stamina, energy, vitality. I mean, I love sharing this with friends who are older than me, and they'll go, to Europe and we travel a lot. You got to climb a lot of stairs, do a lot of climbing, a lot of walking, and to have energy to do all that, to improve quality of life is awesome. Mental clarity. That's what happened for me, that all the stress I was under, within 2.5 weeks, all of a sudden I came to a new state of well-being, restored musculoskeletal condition. One of my clients, Parkwood Dental, down in Bradenton, Florida, they have soon to be 3 locations. They called me up and said, you're not going to believe this, Ken. We had a patient come in and we could not put a post in their jaw because it was too brittle. They came back like 8 weeks later. We rescanned it again. Their jaw was solid enough to put a post in. We're like, what did you do? This patch. So think about it, age is degrading our bodies, and now the brain says, oh, I can go fill in all those gaps, for you. And improvement in sleep. If you're looking for good sleep, well, you've come to the right place. Can't promise you that, but I can tell you, I've seen a ton of people, including myself and my wife and many of my friends, we sleep so much better. and I don't need much, I don't need more sleep. I just feel even better when I get up in the morning, And a lot of men and women, their spouses, women will say, "My husband doesn't snore like he used to, and I used to sleep in another room," which is kind of awesome. And but improvement in skin appearance, it's spectacular. So here's another little session of a woman, 77 years old. On the left, her brain is inflamed. She's got lack of brain coherence. 3 weeks later in the patch, boom, her brain is good to go, basically. We have a neuropsychologist, we've got this recorded, talking about how it would usually take him months to try to get someone's brain to calm down like this session by this session two. And he was completely blown away that this patch did that in that short amount of time. And it kept us sustained afterwards. And by the way, he was sharing how he had degenerative discs in his back and how they began to regrow new meniscus and tissue, if you will, in that area. Not meniscus, but tissue. I'm not a doctor, I'm an advertising guy. Anyways, began to restore his back, and he was excited about that as well. And so we've seen all kinds of amazing miracles, and I'll share a couple more with you in a minute. But also, additionally, your genes that make up who you are, your height, your eye color, and hair color. Well, 4,000, about a third of them reset to a younger state. Resveratrol in red wine years ago got notoriety for being healthy for you because the resveratrol in red wine helped reset two genes. This resets 4,000, right? And so in 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. And within 2.5 weeks, it did that for me. So if you know people with PTSD, teenagers going through weird things, friends going through divorce, just bad things, give them a patch, get it on them, and watch over the weeks and the months to come what happens to their life, right? And like I said, a happy patch. Within 3 months, the collagen in your body increases. You've got more collagen in your bones than you do calcium. And so that bone density is going to get thicker. Your fingernails are going to get thicker. They're going to grow faster and longer. Mind you, I always got to cut them. Your hair is going to grow out faster. I have to get my hair cut about every 2.5, 3 weeks now. It used to be like 4 to 5. And and so between your bone density, your skin becoming more supple, less wrinkled, age spots, some will disappear. It's crazy. And this is what's awesome. Within 6 months, your cardiovascular, they had a study done with 15 people. 14 of them had their cardiovascular age reverse in age by 8 years in 6 months. That's basically 2 years every 8 weeks. I had a friend of mine in my networking group. He came in one morning, looked kind of beat up, said, "Mitch, what happened?" "Well, I got hit by a car. I just got out of the hospital, yesterday." "Oh my gosh, you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." But they discovered I had a stretched aorta when they did a body scan. And he's like in his mid 60s. And so I'm going back in 12 weeks at bypass surgery. In the meantime, he started wearing the patch, goes back to have the bypass surgery and pre-op. They're like, "Wait, scan his heart." They said, "Oh, we can't explain this. No need to cut you open. No need for bypass surgery. Your heart's pretty much good. It's down to like 5% versus 35% stretch." And so the brain obviously did his thing. He and I were at a convention in about this patch, and there was a Dr. Adam Shiner. You can look him up. He's in Tampa. He's been on Dr. Oz before. He's renowned for plastic surgery. He makes his patients, or he requests them, to wear this patch 1 month prior to surgery because they heal so fast. And he has it. He shows clinically difference of people have the same type of surgery, how those on the patch heal much faster than those who don't, to inspire those who put on the patch a month prior. And so my buddy went up to him and said, "Hey, doc, this did this for my heart." And the doc says, "Hey, we can tell you why it is." We're like, "Yeah, please do." He says, "Because your DNA is always talking to your brain. And the DNA said, I made your heart to look like this, but now it looks like that." And the brain says, "Okay, I'll go ahead and fix it." I thought, wow, that was a genius way how to share that, right? So here's what you do with the patch. You're going to wear it 12 hours on, 12 hours off. You can wear it anywhere in the body. But when they tested it for the patent, you can see here, they tested it 2 inches below the belly button, individually at a separate time for a period of time to prove that it worked there. Then they tested it again at another time independently on the back of the neck, 2 inches below and basically on that C7, that bump on the back of your neck. But you can wear it anywhere in the body because it's the brain that's really doing the healing. But a lot of people, many times, they'll put it where their pain is at, and they'll feel better over the long run. Not just for the placebo. I'll take a placebo any day, but I want the long-term healing after that. Well, this patch kicks into gear and gets it done. So it's 12 hours on, 12 hours off. We tell people, hey, put it next to your toothbrush in the morning, slap it on. After dinner, take it off, throw it away, and let the body rejuvenate itself after the 12 hours having it off. and then put it back on again. You don't want to wear this patch all the time because the brain will get used to it and goes into homeostasis. And there's some other big term used that our inventor talked about clinically, that why that is. I don't know what it is, but I just trust him. And so, um, and then also you don't want to continue to wear the patch or the same patch all the time because this is organic material and the heat from your body eventually degrades it. So the 12 hours is good, throw it off, put a new one on. And that's why you don't want to wear the same one all the time. The key is drink plenty of water. Most people are dehydrated in America and you need to be drinking water, but also you need to be drinking water with electrolytes. And electrolyte, and the best form is a natural form. And there's one called Baja Gold Salt or Celtic Salt, CELTCIC. You can buy it from Publix or wherever you go shopping for groceries. And just a quarter teaspoon in half a gallon, or double it, half a teaspoon in a whole gallon. This will give you all the trace minerals and the electrolytes you need. The body runs on electricity. If you do drink a lot of water, you don't have electrolytes. You can flush those electrolytes out of you. And this body optimizes itself when you have plenty of fluids in you. And so you take your body weight, divide it by two. So say you weigh, you weigh 128 pounds, okay, and as a woman, and well, divide that in half. That's 64. I just use an analogy because 64 is half a gallon. That's how many ounces you drink. If you're 200 pounds, drink 100 ounces of water, right? And that's your daily consumption. And then put the proportional amount of sea salt in there or what have you to be able to get the electrolytes you need. That's just a little helpful hint. So you can see this is pretty simple. I do want to share just a couple quick other testimonials with you that were just spectacular. So my dad at the time was 85 years old. He had one kidney, never took care of himself. So here he is, 280 pounds, 5'10", 12 medications. His legs were looked awful with neuropathy. Well, I'd given this patch to a friend of mine, and a week later she calls me and she says, Ken, you got to come see my legs. I'm like, Kelly, why do I want to see your legs? Because they're not purple. I said, what are you talking about? I said, I have neuropathy and my legs are clear. I said, oh, maybe this will help my dad with his purple legs. So I called my dad up and said, Dad, I'm going to get this patch on you. Maybe help your purple legs. And so I'll get them for you. Just wear them. Well, 2 weeks later, Ken, I don't feel nothing. My legs are still purple. 3 weeks later, I don't feel nothing, Ken. Dad, just keep wearing the patch. Who knows what's going to happen for you? And it's not going to contradict, whatever, conflict with your medications. So the 12 of your medications you're on, so just wear it. 5 weeks in, he calls me, Ken, what's up, Dad? I can breathe again. In the same breath, he goes, buy me a plane ticket, go see Brittany in Louisiana. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You can't walk 20 feet with your walker because what happened is, I forgot to tell you, is that he got COVID. And now he never needed a walker prior to that. He gets COVID, his lungs go south, they're scarred. Now his oxygen is really reduced. Now he needs a walker to get 20 feet and have to sit down and huff and puff. And his head's down all day long. I'm like, oh, I got to put him in an assisted living facility. And so he calls me up and he said, hey, I can breathe again. Buy a plane ticket, go see Brittany, Louisiana. I'm like, you can't walk 20 feet with your walker. I love you, Dad, but I'm not buying anything. Click. 6 weeks later, he's in an Uber to Tampa International Airport. He lives in Oldsmar. Tampa International Airport, flies out to go see Brittany in Louisiana to go see the great grandbabies. His lungs cleared. I was blown away, calling my friends and said, you've got to get on this patch. I mean, think about it. Look, it did to my dad. Well, a couple months later, his legs came clear. And his sleep got really good. And so the brain works in a triage mode, by the way. It's going to work on what's most important first. And from my uneducated opinion, I guess breathing was more important than walking. And the brain did what it needed to do to get that taken care of, and then it began to work on the other areas of the body. So you may have something going on inside you don't even know. So once you get on this patch, give it the runway. Now, the key with the patch is the founder will tell you at a minimum you want to wear it 1 month for every 10 years of life. So for me, 6 months. My wife, 2. Just kidding. We're close in age. She just looks like she's in her 20s. And now that she's wearing the patch. Just kidding. But anyway, so you want to wear it 1 month for every 10 years of life. And people say, Ken, do I need to wear this the rest of my life? I'm like, well, that's up to you. You don't have to wear anything. You can wear it and then stop wearing it. And then what's going to happen is that your stem cell activity is now going to go back to where it was before. And the aging process is going to begin to kick your butt like it did before. And that's up to you if you want to do that. For me, I'm going to continue to wear this technology. And but in 90 days, for most people, 97% worldwide, this is now in 80 countries. See results in 90 days. And remember, in 90 days, the collagen in your body is going to refresh, skin, hair, nails. And in 8 weeks, your cardiovascular is going to reduce itself in age by about 2 years. Heart disease, the number one killer Americans today, you're going to nip that in the bud 4 to 6 weeks, 30 days. So your brain's going to be in balance. You're going to sleep better, feel better. Then the anomalies of joint pain, back pain, this pain, the other pain, that's going to dissipate away. I had a friend of mine, two of them. One who had two frozen shoulders. I never heard of such a thing because being healthy, I don't think about disease or hear about stuff. And most people hide how they're feeling so they don't tell you. Well, my friend told me that for 14 months he couldn't go golfing with his daughter because he had frozen shoulder. His wife had to have him put a shirt on over his head. It was painful. 5 days later on the patch, he calls me, Ken, what's up, Andy? I'm back on the golf course, full range of motion. I'm like, what? And then another friend of mine, 3 days later, he called me, Ken, I've been seeing a chiropractor for the last 2 years because I was in an auto accident. And then I got injured on working out, and that made things worse on my gait. And so I've just been a mess. And I can't believe how good I feel right now. I'm calling my chiropractor up, telling him I'm going to push my appointment out in 2 weeks. I'm like, don't do that. But he did. And when he went to go see Dr. Logan at Thoracic Park down, and it's called Thoracic Park down in Bradenton, Dr. Logan says to Greg, are you cheating on me? Because you're in perfect homeostasis. And I thought, I would never believe that. Now, I'm not saying that's going to do that for you because we're not making any claims, medical claims about this. I'm just telling you what I've seen. And it's amazing. And that's why I want to tell everybody about this patch. Right. So what I'm going to do now is the next few minutes is I'm going to turn the corner here and I'm going to share about, kind of our team, the growth of the company, how much the patches are. So then at the end, you can determine what you want to do, whether do more research, get some patches, get back with the person who invited you to get some patches, or get back with them also and hit the go button on this amazing program. So, and it all really kind of starts here in part because if someone's going to ask you when you're excited about something, what you don't want it to end up being is someone has to explain everything to somebody. Like, who has time for that? And thank God we have a solution. This right here. This is at info.com. People say, Ken, can you tell me more about it? I'm like, yeah, give me your phone. I'm going to text you a link and it's going to have all the clinical trials, the patent, doctors on it, testimonials on it, little short 3-minute videos, how light works in the body. And if you want to learn more about it, are you okay if I just text you a link and you go take a look at it? Yeah, send it to me. Great. And also there's a Zoom going on because we have Zooms that go on pretty much every day of the week in the evening and some during the day that you can invite people to. So you can say, and by the way, there's a great Zoom going on. If you want to send you a link to that too and learn more about it, sure. And then boom, you get back to work. And that's how easy it is to be able to share this opportunity with people and let them begin to take a look and then circle around with them and say, hey, what do you think? You want to get some patches? Yes or no? So on this website also is this testimonial section, and there's all kinds of amazing testimonials from neurology to children, neuromuscular, dental improvement, sleep, weight loss, increased stability, bladder improvement, inflammation, hearing, gluten intolerances, chronic fatigue, hair improvement, eye improvement, energy, stroke, dialysis. I mean, all kinds of testimonies are sitting on this site right there, right? And once again, I share with you the amazing growth that's happening with this company, and that 60% of that revenue gets pushed back to me and you, and that we have an amazing team. Well, that team is led by this couple here, Steve and Gina Merritt. They're on the left, and they started this team that started with just 2 people, and now is almost 500,000 people strong. This was their first event they had back in 23 in August. Sweltering heat. We all 1,800 went to this thing. Well, the CEO of the company and the founder of the company said, we've never seen any distributor team in the history of our 18 years grow this rapidly. We're coming down to check it out, and they did, and there they are. And so it was just amazing. And so, and once again, because they're going to implement a strategy that we all could follow, that in our busy schedules where we don't have time for anything, and we tell people in life you want to keep God first, then your family, then whatever you do for work for a living, keep all that in order, and then you share this kind of the nooks and crannies and on the system we have. But what that does is that can potentially begin to set you free. Physically, your body's going to get better and it's going to thank you. And you're going to want to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And so right there, you're going to get better health. But on the rest of this thing, most of us all want more of this. We want better time with our family. We want more time, period. We want to be free. I want to be free from the debt I was under. All right. And I wanted to travel more. My wife loves to travel. Well, this company has checked, and this opportunity checked all the boxes. See, our story is once we were about, we were 3 months in or so, we had sponsored about 60 people, and then we went on a cruise to Hawaii and then Bora Bora. So we were, it's 4 days on a ship from Hawaii down to Bora Bora. So we were away from civilization. Now, everybody I had signed up to try some patches and get on it, and then some of them started getting excited and sharing patches. While we were gone or on the beach of Bora Bora, the Bora Bora Beach Club, uh, we were making money and we didn't realize this. We came back 2 weeks later, $2,500 richer. And I told my wife, I said, hold on a second. That's the first time in my life I did not have to put my foot on the gas to make money. But yet, from the collective efforts of a bunch of people, many who I don't even know now because word of mouth is spreading, we're getting a piece of all of that while we're on the beach here in Bora Bora or while we're flying back, from Tahiti, back to the States. We were making money. I said, that is spectacular. I said, we got to tell our kids. I mean, they got to start sharing this because they need some extra money and they don't have time to really do much more because they're busy raising a family. They're working their lives. I mean, and now they could share some hope with people on a path that could change their life too. And I said, man, this is awesome. Well, in a short order of time, we went from making, 1,000 a week to 1,000 a day. And within 22 months, we were north of $1 million a year. Insane, literally insane. And we have 100 other people in the business who've hit this highest rank in the business, 24-year-old kid making over $1 million a year out of college. That is not normal, right? But this business model does this, unlike buying a franchise or something where you have to invest a ton of money, resources, go to training, all kinds of employ people, all to hopefully get a piece of the American dream. Here we have an opportunity that can accelerate one getting the dream back. 85% of people today, you can Google this, 85% of people today are not happy in what they do. And just think, what are they doing? Well, they're leaving to go to work, whether they're doing it from home or going somewhere, they're working and they're not happy. And I wasn't happy. And if you think about it, isn't that a shame? Would want to be happy, joyful, But when we're working and work's pressing down on us and we're like, oh man, and now we got inflation kicking our butt. My kids 3 years ago could have bought a 322 home here in Florida for about 250 grand. That same house is almost $550,000 now. That's crazy. Now, less money if you buy the same house for the future, for college, for all kinds of things, right? Everything costs more. And so now we have an opportunity to potentially not only help people get set free in their bodies, but also help them begin to gain some traction in their finances, get some pressure off their back. And it all starts like this, right? And by the way, we have other people, like we have Penny Carpenter. She's 63 years old, who hit the highest rank in this business. She's a single mom out in this Nowhereville, Texas. There's only 650 people in this town she lives in. They're all ranchers. She hit the highest rank in this business. We got an 82-year-old grandmother in Puerto Rico hit the highest rank. People who are not gifted salespeople hitting the highest rank. Why? Because word of mouth works. And if you've got something that's worth it, it works. And this business is built on trust. It's built on integrity. When people who believe this works for them and they start calling, they're calling because they care about their mom. They care about their best friend. They care about their kids. They care about their neighbor because they feel they found something to offer them because they care about them. So trust matters. And word of mouth is built on trust. And if you got two people on your left and two people on your right, basically, if you got four people that you love and care about, need to get on this patch, and you get them on this patch, and I'll share what they buy, but they buy some patches and you get some patches, then you hit the first position in this business called manager. You're not going to manage anything, but that's going to open you up to start making up to $1,500 a week. You're not going to make that right then, all right? But that's a cap. And then there's other levels that go all the way to $25,000 a week, all from replicating this play. You plus two friends on your left and two friends on your right, all buying a certain amount of patches and then replicating that play. And so then I call it a foreplay. And you replicate this foreplay throughout your left team and right team that you started. They call it a binary. It's just the FTC calls it a binary. And it's a wonderful structure because it basically allows people that you sponsor that come in your team, on your left team and a right team. That's what you're going to start. Two on the left, two on the right. And as that begins to grow with this foreplay of more people getting, trying to get two on the left, two on the right, two all below you, then your income's going to grow, but you can have people below you make more money than you. unlike a pyramid, which is illegal, by the way, pyramids are illegal. This is an FTC approved business structure that not only allows people to be rewarded for what they do who are below you, technically on the computer, but it also gives the company financial strength. And so this company is a 21-year-old company. They've done very well. They're one of the fastest growing companies in the world out of 561 relational marketing companies like eXp Realty, Ameriprise, Mary Kay. Think of that. This is a relational marketing company, not a pyramid. Pyramids are illegal. This is a company that protects your and my good name. If we're going to get out there and share it with a product that shares it. And so now we have something that we can rely on and camp on and hang our hat on that could financially be a blessing to us and our family and friends. And this is what it's done for us. And so this opportunity, as your team, your left and right team gets bigger, where you're getting paid a portion of that, that means your commission is getting bigger. Well, that can go to $25,000 a week. And when I heard that, I said, that's amazing, because that's a number I need to hear, right? And that number is too big for a lot of people, but that's only because that's what they think. But we have a lot of people hitting that number, which is really just spectacular. Well, if that wasn't big enough for you, this is unlimited. And it's one of the other ways we get paid. You enroll a friend, you're going to get a bonus of 25% of where they start making, excuse me. And then that friend enrolls somebody, that's your second generation, you're going to get 20%. And that second generation person, who you may not know who they are, they enroll a friend. The company says, oh, that's your third generation. You're going to get 20% of their making. And it doesn't matter how many people you enroll. So you can enroll, 20 people left, 20 people right. There's 40 people. And now you can have the potential to make 25% of whatever they're making as a bonus on top of what they're making. And then if they enroll somebody, well, now you get 20% of those other 40 people. And then if those 40 people enroll somebody, you get 20% of whoever they enroll. And so it's kind of amazing in a blue sky way. And actually, the money we make, 2/3 of our income come from this way right here, and the other third comes from here. So it's just spectacular. And another wonderful way the company pays us is with trips. Like we have these great contests and they lower the bar. So like a bunch of people win it. Like we had 800 some odd people go to Punta Cana, like an amazing 5-star Hard Rock resort. We all had big jacuzzi tubs on our porch. We had massive bathrooms, living rooms, and big bedrooms, big walk-in showers and everything. Each of us did. And every time you came back to your room that day, you had another trinket on your bed and the bed was made. I'm like, man, this is amazing. And they just treat you like royalty. And 800 of us. And then another time we had 550 of us on a cruise in the Mediterranean. They flew us out to Italy. And then we jumped on a ship in Florence. And then that went to Mykonos and Santorini and saw the most beautiful sunsets in the world. Then that went up to Split, Croatia, all paid for by them. 8 days. And then my wife and I spent a couple extra days, in Venice. It's just spectacular. And Switzerland, and Aruba, Cancun, just amazing trips. A lot of us just got back from Punta Mita. Never heard of the place. It's a beautiful, all-inclusive 5-star resort in the town of Punta Mita on the Pacific coast of Mexico. It was spectacular. And 500 of us, right? So it's another way you get compensated. I mean, this is just amazing. And so how does this start? Well, it all starts by you getting some product. If you want to get some product, you can get, and these are one-time purchases, by the way. You get a one-time purchase to get some product, get some extra inventory in hand to share it, and then you go on a monthly maintenance routine of getting some for you and your plus one, you and your spouse, like in a two-sleep monthly maintenance. And by the way, everything we do is month to month. You can click off anytime. You're never locked in. And there's always a 30-day back money guarantee on anything. You could buy one of these packs of 3, 6, or 20, and day 29, if you're not loving it, send it back and all your money back, right? So no one's ever locked in. I love that. But I tell everybody, here's the deal. 90 days. Don't waste your time buying these patches you're not going to wear for 90 days. Forget the 30-day money back guarantee. This is stem cell reactivation. This is your bone density getting thicker. This is your cardiovascular getting younger. This is your brain getting better. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to wear something that nothing in the world can do for you. And think about your family and friends. Like right now, who are you thinking about right now that you love and care about? That do you know anybody who's got dementia? How about Parkinson's? We had somebody, we got this on out of South Africa. In 3 weeks, we had him on a call because he went from being 62 years of age, riding a motorcycle, horses, everything. And 2 years later, he can't ride anything. His head's shaking all the time, just miserable, not even wanting to live anymore. 3 weeks later, he's on a call with new energy, head not shaking like it is, starting to be able to feel he can ride again. And now here we are, a year and a half later, we got a picture from his wife. He's water skiing. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen for anybody you know with Parkinson's, but when you see that, you get excited. You want to say, hey, if you got Parkinson's, why not? What do you got to lose? Seriously. And dementia, right? People that all of a sudden are just in the homes and they kind of come back to life, you know, and just other things. My 2.5-year-old autistic granddaughter, I almost forgot. Thanks for reminding me. Little Liliana, level 3 on the scale of autism. That means nonverbal, non-focus. And you know, as a granddad, probably one of the best parts of my life are my grandchildren. When I come around the corner of the kitchen, if they're in the home, they see me, granddad, you know, and they come run to me, and there's nothing better. And then you have one who doesn't even look at you or acknowledge you or any other human for that matter, or speak. Heartbreaking. Well, my son calls me, Dad, Liliana, she's been crying 4 days in the street, sleep. This is back on February 10th last year. And so we don't know what to do. I said, well, there's two things we're going to do. I said, first of all, we're going to pray in Jesus' name, God bless her. And secondly, you're going to get that patch on her because I just heard the most amazing story with another 2-year-old and how the patch helped them. So maybe help her. And this other 2-year-old had a granddad that I got to know. The granddad used to have a phlebotomy every month for 30 years because his blood would become like cancerous with leukemia. But after the patch set him free from that. No need for because his blood got good. And then, but his son had a granddaughter, who was born with their brains separated down the middle from birth, but she could still function. Never heard of such a damn thing. How can anybody function like that? But she could, but she wasn't, she was cognitive, but not fully. And she also had a lesion, a black lesion on the brain. And the doctors wanted to give her some kind of medication that could potentially cause her to go blind. The parents were beside themselves, didn't know what to do. And the granddad, to the granddaughter, told the son, put the patch on her. What do you got to lose? Well, they put the patch on her, and within weeks, the lesion began to go away. And then, boom, it's gone. And her cognitive abilities to be able to count to 20 and to begin to get happy all began to come solid. And he showed me a video of her. And I'm like, that is spectacular. And then I thought about that with Liliana too. I said, listen, we can do it because we didn't think we could put it on little children. We didn't realize that. And so I said, just put this on Liliana. I said, this thing works up to 6 inches off the back of the body. You can just peel it back and stick it on her back on her clothing. She'll never feel it. As soon as he did, he said in 5 minutes, she got down, she was smiling, she was happy. I believe because Jesus answered her prayer. But the next day, she's at the therapist, and the therapist, hey, hold on, what's with Liliana? How's she now focused? Like she's tracking, she's focusing. Never she did before. Well, then she went further, would say, Mom. And now, a year and a half later, not even, Liliana, she'll look at me, she'll smile, she'll give me a hug. She's still on the spectrum, but nothing like before. Anytime we get this patch on a child on the spectrum, teenagers, 20 years old, what have you, young, the first thing the parents say is, hey, they're focused. And some will say now they're starting to speak. We had one who talked about who would only say the word like yellow, 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 blue, blue, blue. And within 1 month was speaking sentences at the age of 3. It's a friend of ours right here in town. So yeah, how many patches do you want? You know, seriously, if you want to do more research, we get it. But if you can get some patches, you can get a 20-pack, a 6-pack, or a 3-pack, and then get on a monthly subscription to be able to keep wearing them. And you buy the 620, the 6-pack, was the premium, or the 20-pack is the premium, the 6-pack was the advanced, or the 3-pack, which is core, at $17.50, $535, $295. You buy those to be able to get started and have some to share with others. And what's happening is this is an envelope, and inside that envelope are 30 of these patches. So, and then what you do is you open the patch up, and you open the sleeve up, they call it, to pull the patch out, stick it on you. But this typically is $149 retail. Everything we're talking about tonight is all at a wholesale level. And so there's a $25 membership that gives you the ability for 1 year to get this at wholesale. That's buried into these kit pricing here. And so when I told my friend Joyce what's the biggest kit, she says, it's that one for $17.50. I said, fine, give me that one, because at least I'll have 6 months worth for me, 6 months worth for my wife, and it gets it down about $87 from $99. I'll take it, you know, and it's well off $149. And then I'll have extra to share with people. And what we did is we had extra, and I'd sign up my friends and family who were with me in person. I'd then front them 1 or 2 of these. so they can begin wearing them right then. And then when they got theirs in the next week, they could then get that whole one back to me. And many times we had people call us in 2, 3 days. Ken, you're not gonna believe this. I can't believe how good I'm sleeping, or I can't believe the pain I have is gone. I'm calling my family and friends to tell them about this patch, and they still didn't have these in the mailbox yet. But because I had extra inventory to front them, I got them started on the miracle sooner. And so if that's you, get that 20 pack. You can only buy it one time and never buy it again. Or if you want to get the advance, you say, hey, Ken, I want to get it down to $89 a month. And I get some for me, my wife. At least give it a 90-day runway. Get the advance. Get it the cheapest way to get it is for 3 month supply each of you, for 89 each. So you can do that. Or, you can get, if you didn't have the 1750 for one reason or other, that's why I want to get you in this opportunity so you could and help you start winning. Then get the 6-pack, one for you, one for your spouse, have 4 extra on inventory to share. Make sure you get on a 2-sleeve monthly maintenance so you can continue to wear the patch. And so my wife and I right now, we are on a 2-sleeve monthly maintenance to make over $1 million a year. And as a business owner, that is crazy. I have no employees, no overhead, nada, nada, nada. I'd wear this for me and this for my wife to build the business or not. So I don't even call it overhead, but that's my overhead. And I can click off anytime I want. And then you can get the 3-pack, if you want to kick the tires and to get started. But get on that monthly subscription. You don't have to. You don't have to get on any monthly subscription. But it's just usually the smartest way to get started is to have a little extra on hand so you can share, caring and sharing, and then get on that consistency of using this and watch what happens. So now, by the way, if you buy the 6 or 20-pack, that opens you up to make all the ways the company pays. If you buy the 3-pack, you're limited to $100 a week, right? And once again, those are all one-time purchases. You can never do that again. You can upgrade from the 3-pack to the 20-pack, or 3 to the 6, or from the 6 to the 20 anytime you want throughout the whole year. Pick that time if you want to, should you decide to want to engage in this opportunity. And the person who invited you, they can share more about this and to keep it simple for you. But this whole business is built on a monthly subscription. You want to get on it and stay on it. And as long as you're on a 2-sleeve monthly subscription, you can make all the ways the company pays. So you can buy a 6 or 20-pack, 2-sleeve monthly subscription, boom, you can pay it all the ways the company pays. And if you do buy the 20-pack, they give you the benefit to push your monthly subscription out 90 days. So that's just food for thought. And then if you at least get a 3-pack and get on a 1-sleeve monthly subscription, then what's going to happen is you got signed up on a team. Left or right, doesn't matter. But anybody on that team that you're on, that left or right team, whenever they sign somebody up, by default, the computer puts them below you and you get credit for you as long as you're on a 1-sleeve monthly subscription. So maybe you tried over a couple months, but at least you have a 1-sleeve monthly subscription. You bought that 3-pack, that is, and you at least have that 1-sleeve monthly subscription coming in. Then all the point volume, we call points, that turn back into dollars, and all those people being put underneath you is all counting towards you, and it's all put in a bank waiting for you because at least you're on a 1-sleeve monthly subscription. So that's kind of how to get started on this. And get back with the person who invited you to help. If you have any other questions to get started, it takes 5 minutes, to get an order placed, and it's going to ship right to your door, get you started. And I always carry these sign-up sheets around me. I sign everybody up on paper. It's the fastest way. I don't use a link or anything. It's easier. And then I just key it in later after I've got the person off the phone, or after I've seen them, I just key it in when I get back to the house or whatever. It's kind of pretty awesome. Well, we do have an amazing team that we're part of. And also, I just want to say one last thing. If by chance you're a number one and you're excited and you want to say, Ken, I want to get access to this amazing income opportunity as well. Well, the most important thing you can do beyond buying a kit, one of those packs, is get yourself registered at this next level convention coming up August 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's a Friday night in Orlando, all day Saturday, and then there's this optional Sunday service if you want to go. And we went from 1,000 a week to 1,000 a day because of an event like this. We have amazing leaders that came out of an event like this. And what happens is when you go to this and you bring as many people that you've enrolled with you to this, then it's not like getting your emotions all inflated at a rah-rah sis boom bah event and then get deflated. No, you begin to see people that hit the highest ranks in this company, like a 63-year-old woman, an 82-year-old woman, and a 24-year-old, and you begin to listen to how they did it. You're like, holy smokes, I can do this too. And you get you get these little nuggets, and you get excited and you go back, you start enrolling a whole ton of people after an event like this. Well, if you bring a whole army of people with you and they're underneath you, bam. I mean, it is the smartest way on earth. So any of us, the 100 of us who have hit the highest ring in the business, we all know how powerful this is. And we would not have gotten to where we're at had not this event, these coming events. And there's only 1 to 2 of them a year. And this one's coming up. You want to register for that. And it's the cheapest thing you can do for yourself. And so you can talk to your upline about that too. Well, that gives the presentation for this evening. Thanks for bearing in. I went a little later than usual, but I hope you found it resourceful and prayerful. And we do pray that the Lord richly bless you in your decision making. And it's been an honor to get with you for this time. And I hope to see you on another Zoom soon, and hope and also in person. Love to be able to meet you, and we love to hear testimonies. Love to see changed lives. It's nothing better. And I'll say this, technically, this opportunity has retired my wife and I. The amount of money we make thousands and thousands of dollars every day, 7 days a week. We don't have to do anything more. Nothing. And we're going to make more money. That's crazy. So why am I doing this? Because you can only golf so much and travel so much. Next week we'll be in Portugal and Chamonix, and then we're going to be in places around the world, right? And then I'm taking 23 family members on an 8-day cruise for my birthday in August, blah, blah, blah. That's all great. But there's nothing better than when you have the opportunity to help change somebody's life in the way we have, both with health and finances. And so there's nothing more rewarding. It's such a blessing. And that's what we're here to do. And so we're thankful to have spent this time with you. And so thank you for this, allowing us to be with you tonight. And have a blessed evening for the rest of the night. And look forward to hopefully meeting you again in person. And so have a good night, everybody. Blessings.